Welcome to our first episode of Around the Campfire, where we're going to be breaking down some of our bigger trail adventures that we've been on. We're diving right in with the first one, Mount Whitney. It's the highest peak in the lower 48. We did it the first day after permit season ended. Government was shut down. There was a lot going on. So we're going to go into some of the things that we saw, some of the things we learned, and some good stories from along the way. So thanks for listening. 2 weeks before that we were going to go hike Mount Whitney, that we were going to make this happen on the first day that permit season ended. So we woke up Saturday morning at like 6 a.m., hit the road, 9 hours to the Whitney portal. We took 2-3 hours just to kind of kick it, walk around for a little bit, get ourselves ready, a couple hours of sleep, and then we're at it the next morning.
And I don't know if you can build on any of it, but really the main thing that kind of determined that 2 weeks before we started going was just the weather window. We were just kind of like, if we can, if it ends up working, if the weather's nice, we'll have the opportunity to actually go do it. And then all of a sudden, I think it was you that was like, hey, the weather on Whitney looks pretty darn good right now. Let's go for it. And we kind of had 2 weeks to be like, we're actually doing this for real. Like, let's start prepping, let's figure out what we're going to do. And we just rolled with it.
For how many years we tried to get permits, never worked. We always joked for at least the 2 years leading up to this year, like, oh, we're going to do it the first day after permit season ended. And for whatever reason, we just made excuses, mostly because it was a 9-hour drive, and it's quite
so
the time commitment to do. And we're like, we saw the window. I think, like you said, I saw on all trails that there was like some recent reviews that were talking about it, saying like the weather's been perfect. So I started looking at the forecast for the next week or two leading up to it. Everything looked clear, and I was like, this might be our time. I remember you were the one that was kind of pushing on it too, like, are we about to do this? Because we need to commit if we're going to do this.
I remember being like, because we can't just wing this, we need somewhat of a plan. And I was like, if it's 2 weeks, like, we can do that. We can figure out everything we need to. And we ended up, we got everything we needed. We brought altitude pills, oxygen, a bunch of stuff we didn't need, more food, water than was necessary, had electrolyte tablets, everything we kind of were prepping for and needed. We just planned that all out in that initial week, and then it was kind of jitters leading up to it.
Yeah.
All right.
We got lucky with not lucky, but it's taken us a lot of time to have to be able to think through all the things that go into something like this, so that while we wung it, like, it was all very carefully thought out for, very carefully planned for. We were talking every night about what we need to be concerned about, if there's anything that we're forgetting, everything like that. So it was very well planned, even though we kind of did wing it with like a 2-week notice to head out there.
Short notice. And the plan just was so fun. It ended up being we
perfect.
drove 9 hours, got to the Whitney portal at like 2 in the afternoon, 3,
like
somewhere between 2 and 3 p.m. Hung out until sunset, which was like 5 up in the mountains. It was very early.
Yeah, because portal faces east, so as soon as the sun's over the mountains, it's dark.
It's gone. Yeah, then that got really cold. And then we hiked Whitney the next day and drove back straight from there. What a turnaround.
Yeah. It was fun, like, getting there, and, like, to our surprise, like, there was a lot more people parked there than we thought, because, like, government was shut down. So the little store, restaurant thing that's there, like, that wasn't even open. There was no rangers there, nothing. We kind of didn't think anybody was going to be there. And there was, 20, 30 cars in the parking lot when we rolled up.
Around there, yeah.
And you were on the phone with your girlfriend, and I just decided to take a little lap and walk around the parking lot. You see somebody with a 4Runner, and they got, totes and crates and boxes of gear. And it's like, oh yeah, this person's planning to hike as well. Right. So I just kind of started meandering around and was like, what are you going to get up to tomorrow? And we had originally planned to start at like 3 a.m. I think is when we said 3 or so.
I don't even know if it was that early.
It might have been 4 or something.
Yeah, like 4.
And everybody we talked to was like, I'm starting at 1, I'm starting at 2, and we're like, okay, maybe we should start earlier.
So we set our alarms to get up. I think it was at 2.
I think we set our alarms at 2.
And then you can kind of fill it in this, but you got a little antsy in the morning.
We're sleeping in the back of the 4Runner. The 2 of us sleeping in the back of Spencer's 4Runner.
It's an old
I am like, if I was 1 inch taller, it would have been uncomfortable.
Yeah, we're shoulder to shoulder.
This is the day I'm grateful that I'm only 5'11" and 3/4. If I was at 6 foot, it might have been a squeeze.
Okay.
Head to the seat, toes to the end. And it was cold as heck.
It was so
you're
cold.
at 8,500 feet elevation or whatever, so it gets cold up there.
On what, November 2nd?
On November 2nd. So it was cold. And Yeah, I just remember I was laying on the side facing where the trail goes up, because the parking lot you can kind of see the switchbacks going up the side of the mountain at the first mile or two or whatever. Just remember I woke up at a couple minutes after 1. I'm laying on my side looking out the window, just seeing headlamps going up. At that point, all I could think about is the day we have ahead of us. I'm like, I can't fall back to sleep. So I think I laid there you were sound asleep, so I was trying to, I don't want to interrupt that. And it just hit a point where I just rolled over and I was like, "You ready?" And you're just like bundled up to the base. Yeah.
I think I was awake, but I was just any fleeting moments of sleep I was trying to cling on to. I was like, as long as he doesn't say something, I'm not going to move.
I wanted to sleep more.
I did too.
But it was like, as soon as I woke up, heart rate was probably going 85, just laying there.
Oh, at least, yeah. I'm just laying in bed thinking about my day. My eyes are closed. I'm like telling my body to be still, and it's still just, mine's going 100 miles an hour sitting in the parking lot, just like, oh gosh, what did you sign up to do today?
It's a lot. I mean, while we've done far more mileage than that before, we've done far more elevation than that before. Like, it was such a unique environment to us. The highest mountain we've ever climbed is Humphreys. That's what, 12,000 feet?
Yeah.
And we were going up over 2,000 feet more than that. So we were getting into some uncharted territories there. Those types of mountains are way different than any mountains that we've hiked in, which, I mean, you can know the mountains, but if you don't know, like, local knowledge of the mountains, that is a huge advantage. So we're getting ourselves into some uncharted territory that we've never been in before. So although we were physically prepared for all of this, like, there's so much that we don't know. We still don't know, but we didn't know even going into that we had to consider. So I think that was all like what people say, like, if you're not nervous, like, you don't care.
Exactly. You should, especially going into something like that. You should have a bit of anxiety, and you should be overthinking a few aspects of it. And I mean, I ended up going pretty smoothly, but when we started at the time we ended up getting up, like,
I think we were up like 1:45. I think we were walking to the trailhead. Of course, we have to wake up and make a cup of coffee.
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
Which turned out to be the only thing. A cup of coffee, a handful of pumpkin seeds, and about a dozen Mike and Ike's.
And that's all
it took for me to get to the top. That cup of coffee, though, shoot, I mean, I had poles. I never even pulled out the poles, but I could because I had a cup of coffee in my hands.
Yeah, no, you were busy.
And it wasn't until we got to the top and I realized I have had one measly sip of water the entire day to get up there, along with about 10 Mike and Ike's and maybe a half a handful of pumpkin seeds.
I was having a few sips of it here and there, kind of once we got started, because you were just carrying that thing for the first 2.5 hours, 3 hours maybe going up, and it was just like every now and then it would taste so good, but it was just, I was fighting for my life in the back, kind of from like that 2 a.m. range when we were kind of getting started to sunrise, just felt like a drag.
We were 4 hours, 5 hours so that we got any sunlight?
Any sunlight before like even daybreak at all, and we were at, we started at what, 8,700, 8,600 feet? Somewhere in that range. And we were hiking uphill, just gotten like 5 hours of sleep in the back of the car, drove 9 hours the day before. Like, I was just feeling whipped, and you could just kind of feel all that start like compounding on you as you're walking up. And like a sip of coffee would give me like an ounce of energy for like 5 minutes, and then I would just taper off, and I'd be like walking with my eyes closed.
It was such a slog.
In that first, we were just like leapfrogging with the father and son up the trail, and there was 100 headlamps around us, kind of going up and down, and it was kind of around daybreak that I feel like we kind of broke away from that crowd, and then we started just meeting a few people that were camping up at the top, and everyone else was doing it over a few days.
It was pretty cool, like, those first few hours. I mean, you're so like deep in that canyon that Whitney portal is, but it was like once you got out of that, you're basically up in the mountains, and like, I mean, if it was light out, you could probably see the peak of Whitney at that point or be close to it, but you kind of get above that tree line and you could see quite a ways ahead of you. So we were like, you'd see bunches of headlights up ahead, and we just, we're not very fast. We're not slow, but we're not the fastest hikers. We just set a steady pace, and we can just go forever, even at like just like a medium intensity.
Yeah.
So I mean, we were like, we might take a 2 or 3 minute break here or there, eat a snack every hour or two, kind of thing. But other than that, I mean, we just huffed, like, just went straight at it. So we just slowly were picking off those headlights as we went up.
Everyone started about within the same hour as us, pretty much. And yeah, those first, like you said, 2 or 3 miles, we caught a lot of people. And then after that, it was just like, hey, there's a person up there, and there's one more headlamp. And once you got out the tree line, it was so easy to see everybody. I remember the moment like at daybreak where we kind of had just broken the tree line, and you could look down, and there was some like there was some switchbacks coming up the rock, and you could just see all of these different groups making their way up. And it was really cool to see kind of everyone in cooperation at that moment, like before the sun even came up.
Yeah.
And then we'll obviously get more into how that developed over the whole course of the hike.
So we got up to like, I wish I remember the name of that lake. Beautiful lake. There's a camp there.
Yep.
And that was about right when daybreak was happening.
I want to say, is it Lake Solitude?
That sounds right.
That sounds right, but I can
hope it is. You know, whatever that lake is, it's like
misinformation.
Basically right above the tree line, and there's a camp there that most people do it over a day or two, and they camp there. That's a classic spot. But it was like right when we got to that point was when the sun started to hit, and by that point we had been slogging for 4 hours, 4.5 hours, whatever it was, and it just seemed like it was dragging ass. And then finally that sun hit, and there was just like a boost of life, which was well needed because we were right at the bottom of the 99 switchbacks.
And just feeling the light hitting me, it just felt right. All of a sudden I was like, I made it. Like, I don't know, there was a second wind that just never ran out even till the end of the hike. That kind of started like a second that sun came up, which was really fun to feel, because before, like I said, it was such a drag. It was a fight to keep going. Just like a mental battle of like, you have 4,000 more feet of this. You have
it's only going to get harder as you go up.
Yeah, exactly. The higher you go, the more difficult those miles are going to get, and you're basically in a race against the clock to try and get
hard.
done.
Like, I mean, not even 24 hours before we were hiking. 18 hours before we were hiking, we were at sea level.
We were here, yeah, at sea level, 1,200 feet.
1,200 feet here,
pretty much.
Yeah, and we gave ourselves 8 hours to acclimate before we started going uphill.
Yep.
So I mean, it's always funny to me because people underestimate how much altitude really impacts you. We're at 1,200 feet here. Flagstaff's 6,000 feet, I think, right around there. Yep. And like, if you drive from Phoenix to Flagstaff in a day and are just walking around town, like, you're breathing heavy.
Yeah.
Everybody breathes a lot heavier than they want to admit, too.
Yeah. It's way more difficult to be doing any outdoor activity, to be going for a mile, to be going uphill a couple hundred feet.
We go camp at the Mogollon Rim at 7,200 feet or whatever, and it's like, as I'm setting up camp, I'm like wheezing, setting up like that.
Yeah, it's difficult.
So we were starting at 8,500 feet.
Yeah.
Which, that's higher than any point on the rim of the Grand Canyon. It's a high starting point. So it's just a slog from the beginning with no time to acclimate. I get why people take, a day at least to stay at the Whitney portal, or a day at base camp at 10 or 11,000 feet to give themselves time to acclimate. Like, it's helpful.
It is helpful.
Every bit of time you have is helpful.
Probably a responsible thing to do. But then again, not everyone has that much time to be able to afford to put things aside for.
You need to go to work on Monday.
Yeah. We did go to work on Monday. It ended up being just like a process of, this is the time we have. We know we want to make it work. We've been trying to make it work for however many years. This is our window. Let's do it. And like, sometimes that's what you have to do. Like, we wanted to acclimate longer. I'm sure we could have gotten there a little bit earlier, but I would have been leaving Friday night, probably driving through.
Didn't you fly back in Friday night?
Man,
I think you flew back in Friday night from work.
That's a possibility.
Like Saturday morning.
Yeah.
So maybe it was a Friday afternoon.
Something like that. But yeah, you factor all of that in. There's not always a ton of time to do it, but I was glad we were able to. Despite everything, we did the full process just a little abbreviated. Yeah. Like, we didn't acclimate for as long as we should have, but we took our altitude pills, and it helped with the oxidization of the blood, which I didn't even know that was a thing leading into it.
If it really helped or if it was placebo, we don't know.
It was placebo, probably. Likely. I mean, you could order that stuff off of Amazon.
$10 bottle of altitude pills off of Amazon.
I can't imagine it does
not
all
FDA
that much.
approved.
No, not at all. Definitely not. But yeah, so we ended up doing, it just worked. We ended up doing everything kind of right leading up to it and getting to it. But yeah, just feeling like a slog. I think we were just kind of getting into the 99 switchbacks and heading up that. And I mean, that was probably the steepest, toughest part of the hike. That was just, there's a whole icy section of it in November. It was completely iced over. There was not a spot of it that was not hard-packed ice. And in the morning, that was good because everything had kind of froze, and we were able to just kind of step onto the hard-packed ice with our crampons, be moving along. But as that got later in the day, it began to get slushy again, and I worried for a handful of people that were coming down later than we did.
Oh yeah, it was nice going up spikes. There was no problem. It was hard packed, but by afternoon when we were noon, 11 a.m., whatever it was, but the sun had already been beating down on it for a few hours. It was slush. And there was most people on that trail didn't have poles. They didn't have crampons. People were wearing shorts and a t-shirt. It's like at that point, it's still cold as heck up here. When you're going uphill, you're warm, so it doesn't matter. But as soon as you slow down or stop, you freeze, especially if you're sweaty. So luckily we had a couple layers. We had light layers underneath that we were able to strip down to up at the top. But we had like light puffer coat jackets and some lighter yet warm pants that worked well in that environment. But 99 Switchbacks was like the first snow that we hit, and I mean it was snow all the way up the Switchbacks from there. Yeah. And one of my favorite parts of that was where we met up, and it's crazy I can't remember their names. They were like our best friends that day. The guy and the girl that were good friends. Amanda.
John,
yeah.
John and
Amanda and John from San Diego area. You guys see this, I still love you.
You're cool.
But we were just like past a whole bunch of groups right before, because there's a little bit of a flatter section right before the Switchbacks. We were passing that lake.
Those lakes.
Yeah. And so we're just getting to the Switchbacks. We had just passed everybody that was really in front of us. There was nobody else on the Switchbacks really in front of us at that point. And we started making our way up. And John was like huffing right behind us.
Yeah.
And I remember turning and I asked him, I was like, you want to go through? And he was like, no. He's like, no, keep going. And walk a little ways further. He's still right there with us. I'm like, you want to go through? No, I love the pace. I'm just trying to hang with you guys. And the girl, his friend that he was hiking with, she was doing the same. They were both on their own suffering missions that day.
Yeah.
She was lagging 20, 30 yards behind. He was like right on our tails, using us as pacers for it. And the four of us just knocked that out. We went up the whole thing.
Slow and steady.
Maybe took like one little breather on the whole way up and just trucked it through.
Yeah. And looking back at the videos of our pace on that, we were slow. Steps are slow. You're not lifting your feet very high. It's very methodical, consistent. And it was just hammering it out. It was probably an hour and a half. Maybe not that long, but it was a long time to get to the top of the 99 Switchbacks. And the entire time, we were just slow, steady steps.
I mean, it goes up like 1,200 feet, I think, over the Switchbacks. Yeah. That's equivalent to doing camelback at elevation, covered in snow and ice.
Yeah. And we did that pretty much in one go with maybe a break or two, and just used the endurance we had.
I think that was the first time we pulled out the oxygen tanks.
It is,
yeah. We had gotten those little oxygen tanks that just had like a little mouthpiece on it.
Yep.
Just take a little hit off this big old vape looking thing.
Yeah. Honestly, that was also placebo.
I think it was. I don't know if it actually ever helped, but it was kind of nice. I think I used it the most.
When we were running down, I was just wasting it.
When the next time we're going to use it, I mean, I kind of realized that unless I'm at over 14,000 feet, I definitely don't need it.
Yeah, that's true.
It was nice to have, and kind of shocking that like not a single other person had it, because we talked to every single person on that trail, going up and going down. Everybody was so friendly and helpful. We talked to everybody. Everybody was coming from San Diego,
LA,
Palm Springs, LA area. Everybody was coming from sea level, kind of, and most probably took the same amount of time that we took to acclimate, or a day. Not a single other person had oxygen on there.
No one had it as a backup. It was also during the shutdown, so I don't know how like search and rescue teams, if they were in full operation and stuff like that. So like it was just minimal precautions for a lot of people during that time.
Probably maybe 100 people that day on trail?
Yeah, probably.
No search and rescue is an interesting twist, because we don't know if there was search and rescue.
I don't know.
But I mean, at that point, if there's not even a ranger at the bottom and there's no cell service up there, how are you going to phone somebody? Like, by the time you're asking for help, it's probably too late.
They're probably deploying a team from LA or Fresno or somewhere like that. There's no local team staffed up there at that time of the year. It's also the off season, so they probably tell you you're on your own.
It's such a serious hike for people to not take seriously. Like,
the
guy died. Somebody died a week before we did it, and somebody died a week after we did it.
Yep.
On the Switchbacks. I think both of them were on the Switchbacks. They slipped and fell.
One person, yeah, it was crazy.
I mean, there is a sheer drop there. Like, if you slip and fall down there, nobody's getting you out unless search and rescue can get up there in time.
Maybe. Yeah, also gotta hope you don't hit the rock.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it's not a joke.
Nobody's wearing a helmet. A couple kids were wearing helmets.
There were a few people wearing helmets.
Yeah, very few were wearing helmets. A couple people had pickaxes. Oh, man. The most interesting guy that we talked to, the guy at the bottom.
Yeah.
So we get to
Backtracking
Whitney
a little
Portal.
bit.
Yeah, backtrack here. It's a good story. I'm walking around the parking lot, and there's this guy just sitting on the ground leaning up against his truck. I'm like, what's going on, man? You all good? He, in fact, was not all good. We start to hear this guy's story. He needed a phone charger because his phone was dead.
Yep.
Him and two buddies.
Yep.
He was the experienced guy. He had been up there before. He was a guide in Utah and Nevada, and he was an outdoorsman. He wild guy. Interesting choices, but he was an outdoorsman. He was experienced in that. The two other guys he was with, never been in a high mountain, never been in those mountains, never been in the Sierras. They had just bought all new gear that they've never used before. Never a good idea. You always want to test gear before you're going on the real deal.
Yep.
They were so ill prepared. So they had started off the day before, and they were taking the mountaineering route. So there's the main hiking route, and then the mountaineering route is like half the distance to the same peak, obviously, but it goes up the other side. And you should have helmets, axes. It's a scramble, it's a climb.
Yeah.
And the three of them had gone up. Experienced buddy over here started to feel sick. I don't remember what the backstory
2 miles
was.
in or
2 miles in or something. Starts throwing up all over the trail and decides, hey, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to turn back and head down. So he's like puking the whole way going down. And he let the two guys that had no experience to go on their own, telling us that they had summit fever. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. You should have, I want to get off this mountain alive fever.
Yeah. We have to come back another day.
Yeah, if you die, you can't finish it. So
it's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. So they decided that the two friends were going to keep going for it, and they had camping gear if they needed to. But this guy had no way of knowing if they were deciding to camp for a day and go for it the following day, or if they were going for it in one swing and coming back down the hiking trail or whatever the same day. He had no idea. So we're just hanging out with this guy while he's charging his phone, getting this whole story, and we're sitting there like, sympathetic to the guy. He's having a rough day, thinking, what a fucking idiot. Like, you're the experienced guy. You gotta be the one to tell your friends this is a horrible idea.
Like,
live to see another day.
You don't know what you're doing at all.
Right.
Here. Like, you're just gonna be guessing on these routes.
Yeah.
Like, what? Yeah, absolutely.
We didn't know if they had the map downloaded.
He also didn't have car keys, so he was sitting just on the side of the car. I think he slept under the car.
Yeah, he was just laying on the concrete.
On the concrete, like freezing almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was just one of those moments where you're sitting there like, oh my gosh. Are your friends going to be okay? Are you going to be okay? Is there anything we can even do in this situation and really, we offered him food and a phone charger, and
we were making our soup that night for dinner, and so we offered him some hot soup, so we let him charge his phone. I think he was able to walk down to get service, and he called for somebody to come pick him up. Somebody was driving like 4.5 hours from LA to come pick him up.
Yeah.
Because he didn't know if his friends were up on the mountain camping or if they were on their way back down.
Yep. Or what their plan was the next day.
And he wasn't even concerned. No. He was just like, they're either camping or they're on their way down. I was like, if you need us to start up that way now, we'll go right now.
I was like,
we'll scrap our adventure if we got to come save your boys over here.
They got enough stuff to survive in the winter up there?
Yeah.
And apparently they did. I didn't hear any news stories on it. So
yeah, I tried looking it up after just to make sure, and I didn't see any reports, so I guess that's a good sign. Whether they made it or not, we don't know.
Live to see another day, hopefully.
That was a crazy one.
That was.
Along with like all the people that we were seeing up towards the top that were in shorts and a t-shirt, that just baffled me.
Yeah. I mean, the one guy we talked to in the park.
British guy?
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry. I was getting to when we were up near the saddle and there was the British guy wearing the shorts.
Oh, yeah.
He was a wild dude.
Yeah, he was really, I think he was really cold, too, at that time.
What were you going to say about the parking lot, guys? You're not talking about our two boys?
Yeah, the two older guys.
He almost took apart his sandwich to give us his bread so we could make grilled cheese.
Because we forgot the bread for grilled cheese. Yeah, that guy. He was up there, I want to say, in shorts.
He was.
Yeah.
He was the real deal, though.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing, but still, he was in shorts.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Those were like, those were two of the other few people on that mountain that I was like, all right, this guy, he doesn't need taken care of. He's good.
He can
There's
get
so many
himself
other
off
people
this.
though, without like the resources that were there. I'm like, shit, man, if something goes wrong up here, like,
You're 1,000 feet
it's
up.
probably
in this.
going to be up to us to see if we can help you out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're screwed, man.
There's no one else really around. And yeah, there was, again, a lot of people did not bring extra food, did not bring extra water.
Nobody had electrolytes.
We were able to offer people stuff constantly because it was like, do you need this? Do you ever think about this? Like, yeah. And that was like a huge eye-opening factor of this entire hike for me, was the idea that, like, so many people have the conception that something can go wrong. And if you're not prepared, I guess, plan for the worst, or I guess expect the worst. What's the saying? Plan for the worst, expect the best, or however it goes. But basically, yeah, the idea of things can go wrong, so you should be prepared for when they do go wrong. And when they do go right, like it did, you had the opportunity. You had the opportunity to help other people. It felt good to be like, do you need oxygen? Do you need altitude pills? We got electrolytes. We have food. We have water. What do you need? And yeah, I think a lot of people. No one ended up really using it at all.
No.
I don't think.
I gave my sunglasses to a girl.
Oh yeah.
If you see this, what's up?
But yeah, that was a good time. And yeah, it's kind of getting up to the saddle, and man, there was a couple more people kind of sitting at the saddle. And
That was our first real break.
Yeah.
Took like a 5-minute break there.
well,
Ate a
with
bunch of food.
John and Amanda.
John and Amanda, the British guy, caught up with us at that point.
Mhm. A couple other people might have either were sitting up there and came through, or they took off as we were sitting there. And yeah, it was just, at that point on, it became a very communal hike, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Kind of from like the saddle to the top, there was a bunch of groups. Everyone was really slow moving, and you kind of just stuck with the people you were around. And
Yeah.
if someone needed to stop, you stopped for them, and then everyone just kind of accepted that they were going to suffer, suffered together, and it was so fun. It dragged on for forever because you kind of have to like loop around the peak, and then you go back, and then you come up to the summit. So it felt like it was a long way to get there. But the entire time we were going, it was the four of us, and then there was a group behind us and a couple of groups in front of us that we were kind of hiking after. And that entire time was just everybody locked in, heads down, just stepping, heavy breathing, not talking too much. But we did what we needed to get everybody up there, and shit, we succeeded.
So what it was like, I think from the saddle to the summit was like 2.5 miles or something.
Yep.
And it was tough because the mountains are so big there, and it's so, the peaks are so isolated in a sense that like for most of that span you could see the summit.
Oh,
there
you were
was
looking
one
right
or
at
two
it.
false peaks. I think there was one major false peak, but we were looking at it, and it just seems like the time is like you walk for 30 minutes and you're like, I'm not any closer than I was before.
You're like,
It all kind of looks the same at that point.
Crawled to a little inch of it.
Just big rocks. You're just walking through a path of big rocks.
Mm-hmm.
It was sweet though. And there was no snow up there because they get so much sun that there was no snow at that point. Once we got up to over this giant switchbacks to the saddle, from there on, we didn't have any snow. And that's like that trail is the border of Sequoia, right? Or
Yeah,
Kings
I
Canyon.
think it's Kings Canyon.
Kings Canyon, and you're overlooking the other side down into Sequoia.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was.
And it's just
So you're looking down at that lake on one side. You're walking on just the flat side of the back of Whitney for 2.5 miles, and that was a slog.
it felt so slow. Every step was just like, oh my gosh, this is that pretty. I mean, there was only like 800 feet or 900 feet of elevation gain. Kind of, it was rolling through that period.
Yeah, something like that.
And it felt like it was 3,000 more.
Oh, it hurt.
'Cause every step uphill was hard to breathe, hard to kind of keep moving.
It was interesting because like even the whole time, that point specifically, well, like my legs weren't toasted, nothing hurt too bad. It just felt like the same amount of like energy expenditure effort. I was going half the speed that I would normally
exactly.
like to. Like the max speed that I could be doing at that threshold of exertion was like half of like my normal hiking pace.
Mm-hmm.
So it just felt like it just slows you down. It felt fine. Everything felt good. Body felt good. It was just slow.
And it tires you a little quicker.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like, oh, we've only gone a mile, and it feels like I just walked 3.
Yeah.
And that was a very compounding effect up there.
The further you go, the slower it gets too.
Yep. But we got a beautiful weather window for it. And as we were doing that last kind of 2.5 mile section up, it was so stunning. The sun was out.
Sunny,
There was
clear
no snow.
skies.
Perfectly clear skies. It ended up being like you didn't have to have a coat on.
Yeah, we dropped the jackets at that point.
You know, once you got to the top, and you were actually once we were hiking uphill, we dropped all the jackets, kind of went back down to light layers, and it was so smooth.
Once we got to the top, it was so. It had to have still been pretty cold, but I don't know. We were like us and a few other people that were up there were like jackets off. We were just standing there in t-shirts, hanging out,
Yeah, felt
snacking.
super good. Like a light windbreaker, and that was really all you need. That was exactly what we had for most of the way down too.
Yeah, so coming down we had perfect weather time coming down. The top was so fun though because we spent 10 or 15 minutes up there. There's probably another.
longer than that.
I don't think we were up there any more than 15 minutes.
That's crazy. It felt like a long time.
There's probably a good 15 or 20 people that were up there, and everybody was just hanging out, having a good time. We got our boy over here. The guy smoked 3 joints and 6 cigarettes in that day. He's also drinking a beer while he's smoking his cigarette next to us.
Yep.
He was a wild guy, which that was my favorite. So there's the log book that's up there. There's a little, I don't know what it's not a bivouac, but it's basically a little cabin that's up there. And everybody like signs their names on the walls and stuff on the inside, and then they have this big log book that everybody signed. And I don't remember what his name was, but he signed his name, and then he was like 2 joints, 6 cigarettes, 1 beer at the top or whatever. And I was like, dude, this guy's a legend.
Yeah, that is so insane.
Every time we saw him, it was only because he was taking a cigarette break.
Yeah,
It's like, dude, you're at 12,000 feet. You just hiked 8 miles, and you're
gonna take a break to smoke a cigarette.
Yeah.
Your poor lungs.
I've never smoked a cigarette, and I never wanted to, and I kind of wanted to at that point.
If you would have offered at the top, I would have probably.
Hey, can I bum a cig, my friend?
Yeah. So it's like an honorary thing. It's like when an old Eastern European man gives you a cigarette. Like, you can't say no. Same with
I've never been in that scenario, but I think you're right.
Me either. But like, I can't say no. It's gonna look like I don't know. He'd be so deeply offended. So I'd wish in that moment maybe he had, but that would have hurt.
It's just what I needed at that 14,000.
Just what I needed.
Freaking stogie.
No, that would have been awful.
No, what I needed was, since I hadn't eaten anything all day, I literally had a cup of coffee, a handful of Mom's homemade pumpkin seeds. Shout out Amy Bray. Those gave me life, full of vitamin C. They were great for me on that.
Very good, very good.
And a handful of Mike and Ike's that were probably covered in pocket lint.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got to the top, and I think I ate 1,500, 2,000 calories in a matter of like 4 minutes.
Yep.
Whatever I had, I was just shoveling.
Meat sticks, candy, trail mix, whatever, everything.
Nerd gummy clusters.
Everything that was in there was just down match.
Oh yeah.
And that was pretty much the rundown too. I just remember lining my pockets, like my coat pockets, with snacks and candy, and just as we were moving quickly down the hill, it was just kind of shoveling and making sure because didn't need it or didn't feel like it going up, but coming down, I was like, a little hungry.
Yeah.
A little thirsty.
We did that damage on the way home for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so we hung out for like 15 or so minutes up there with our guys that offered us the bread off their sandwiches. That was one of the most generous offerings I think of.
Yeah, that is
it was literally his dinner.
An insane statement.
Raw soup, and the whole idea was grilled cheese. And of course, one of us always forgets something, and this time it was me, and I forgot bread to make grilled cheese. We had cheese, no bread. You go walking over to their car in the parking lot. Any chance you guys have bread? And this man offered to dismantle his dinner sandwich to give us 2 pieces of bread.
Yeah,
dude, at this point, that's 1 grilled cheese. We want 8 grilled cheese. Please eat your sandwich.
Please eat your sandwich. But the fact that I just can't think of like a more polite thing to do in the situation. He was like, yeah, like the shirt off my back, the bread off my sandwich.
He was either a Midwesterner or a Canadian, for sure.
Oh, it was so good.
The Californians aren't going to offer you the bread off their sandwich.
No, we came from somewhere.
Definitely not the Arizonians.
No, I wouldn't have offered my bread, to be honest. I would have been like, man, sorry, I have 1 sandwich.
If I'd survive without it, I'd consider. But if that's all my only sandwich, it's like the Ross Geller and Friends. My sandwich!
Oh, so good.
Oh, man. Yes, we started making our way down. That was just smooth sailing. It was just the 2 of us at that point. We didn't jog, but that 2.5 miles from the peak down to the saddle, that's smooth. not very many huge steps. So we were cruising down that. By the time we hit the saddle, getting into the 99 switchback descent, it had been getting hit with sun all day, and then it was just slush all the way down. Like we were half glissading going down.
Yep.
Ironically, we didn't use spikes. I didn't feel like we needed spikes. Did you use spikes?
Yeah, because I remember my spikes got caught. I got like there was my spikes have little metal hooks, which I'm not going to use anymore. But at one point, I fell because those little metal spikes got intertwined, and it just kind of caused me to go forward. I remember you were like, "Hey, if that happens in a spot that is actually dangerous, that's a bad thing."
Remember you hit your ankles a few times and stumbled, and there was that one time where I looked at you, I was like, "Hey, watch your fucking steps."
Yeah,
like,
hey.
I ain't losing you here.
Not here, and then I started doing like these wide steps. So yeah, I mean, I know we wore spikes going down, but it was slushy and just becoming a mess.
It was so fun. Going down the switchbacks was really fun.
It was really fun. Much easier than going up at that.
That's right. There were still quite a few people heading up the switchbacks when we were going down. But I was like, buddy, you are going to be here well past dark at this point.
Yeah, you're going to be on this mountain well past dark. There was a handful of people. Even once we got down to the bottom of the switchback, we came across probably 10 more people or so that were like, "Oh, we have aspirations to make it as far as we can today." I was like,
we had to advise quite a few people to rethink that.
Yeah, it was like, okay, you can go a little ways, but I wouldn't start the switchbacks.
That redhead girl who was like 3 miles into it, and it's like noon. No, so I think we started at 2 and we were done at noon.
Yeah.
So it must have been like 11 or so. So we're like towards the bottom. And she's like, "Oh, I think I'm going to try to go for the summit today." And I was like, "Don't."
That's a bad idea, yeah. That's how you die on it.
You don't want to be coming down that 99 switchbacks now at dark. Like,
exactly.
No way.
If they haven't
Dark
frozen
and
yet.
slush? Heck no, that's a horrible idea. So there's quite a few people we had to advise to reconsider their daily plans.
Yeah, we're like, all right, if you are going for it, you need to pick up your pace. And you need to not be smart. Make good choices.
Once we got down the switchbacks, we got past the lake, and at that point we're just kind of making our way back down into the canyon that Whitney portal's in. And we were starting cruising at that point.
That's when it became like hard-packed dirt trail through
Yeah.
the trees, and it was no longer like a rock field that you were kind of navigating.
So it wasn't super choppy, it was relatively flat. Once we got basically to the tree lines where we started running, well, that was about 3 miles down or so. And we sent it.
We just
3
ran
miles down.
Stopped to pet a few dogs.
We did stop to pet a few dogs.
You weren't supposed to have dogs at the time, but government wasn't open. Bring your dogs.
Yeah, everybody that had their dogs, it was chill.
Yeah, everyone was super
Nobody
nice.
was up to anything I was worried about.
No, and they were cleaning up after themselves.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool, I don't care.
There was quite a few people too down towards the bottom that were like just doing a mile or two up. That just had either taking a day trip up, or like there were some older couples that were just out on some walks.
Yep.
And like, yeah, enjoy your hike.
It was awesome.
It was cool. And we sent it going down.
We
We got down at about noon.
Yeah,
About a
because I
10-hour
remember
day.
trying to race down to beat noon. It was like 12:08 or something.
Yeah, we were
finished.
just shy.
Yep.
And we literally just hopped right in the car, changed, which was disgusting, and hit the ropes. We had 9 hours back to Phoenix.
Mm-hmm. And we did that all straight in one shot through.
Yeah, we stopped in
San Bernardino.
San Bernardino, and we got in the ghetto. And we bought some pizza from a place that had bars on the windows. It wasn't very good, but it was what I needed.
It wasn't. All right.
Made it home at like 9 or 10 o'clock that night, and back to work the next morning.
I was like freezing you out on the drive home because I was trying to stay awake.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. It was so cold.
I needed to though because I was like, I can't. If I'm warm, I'm just gonna.
Yeah, that's a brutal drive after that too. The bikes were so locked up.
Yeah.
It's so fun getting out of the car after that. Like when we stopped for gas and we got ourselves some
hit the
sodas at that
Hit the little waddle.
7-Eleven or whatever, like waddling in, and he's like, "You all right?" "I'm good, thanks."
Yeah.
And I get to go to work the next morning, and everybody's like, "Why are you walking that funny?" "Oh, I had a busy weekend."
I
You have no idea what I've been up to.
I went and did something. There's a reason my hips don't have any mobility in them right now. But it's a long
We just
story.
did that, and then I sat in the car for 18 hours this weekend.
Yeah.
Overall, man, that was such a smooth trip. Like, everything went according to plan. We had thought through everything we needed to. Maybe overthought through many things, but we were prepared. Our packs stayed light, so we didn't have you know, it's not like we were lugging around a lot of excess gear or weight that we needed.
Not at all. There was water Phillips along the way too, going up
a couple
creeks, so we didn't carry it that much. We did really good. We operated as a good, smooth unit, to be honest.
Man, that was one of my favorite hikes we've ever done. That was just such a fun day. What a good adventure.
It was literally a full day from 2 a.m. to 9 p.m. at night, pretty much. And then got back here, and of course the body is wired awake.
Oh yeah.
And you get a horrible night's sleep after every adventure.
Got like a 17 sleep score on the
Yep.
Garmin. It takes like 5 full days to recover from that.
Absolutely. But it was a good one. A very good one.
All right, man. I think that might complete our story about Whitney.
I think that's a pretty good one.
Till the next one.
Sweet. It makes me happy to see that light is still flashing. Did anyone stick around for that whole video? Well, if you did, thank you so much. Honestly, your support means the world to me and my brothers here at Kaibab Outdoors. Without you guys, a young channel like us wouldn't be able to do anything. So just to be fair, I love you. And I wouldn't be a very good YouTuber if I didn't do the grimy stuff at the end. So please like, subscribe, comment if you got something to say to us, if you have recommendations for how we can improve or different top conversations to talk about. All that stuff would be appreciated. So have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much and take care.